So we've seen the stories of loss and devastation, but we're also going to look to our local leaders to help us recover and rebuild. Joining us here now, we have Town of Wbng Supervisor Don Castellucci, State Senator Tom Libous, Executive Director of the Broome County United Way, Alan Hertel, and Vestaltown Supervisor Peter Andresen. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Senator Libous, you know we've been through this before. What is it going to take this time to rebuild and support from the state and the federal level?
It's going to take a lot, Candace. You know, not just Broome, Tioga, Shenango, and Delaware County were affected, as you know. We've had over 22 or 23 counties statewide with the various storms. So we are taking an assessment now, and we're going to have to look at a whole host of things, obviously. Financially, looking at what kinds of things will have to take place for the future to mitigate and to stop any type of serious issues that could have been prevented this time.
All right. One of the issues that many people may talk about, two communities hit hard by these floods this time, Vestal and Owego. Do the flood walls need to be raised?
Go ahead.
I think it's an engineering thing you have to look at. Think of flood walls when you're creating them. When you say you're protecting one neighborhood, sometimes you might be doing detrimental issues to another neighborhood. So I think it really needs to get evaluated in a regional picture, and then you can come up with that kind of decision.
Peter, flood walls and levees.
Flood walls and levees, the problem, and we looked at this in 2006, Candace, we had two requests then to actually place new flood walls. We found out with preliminary figures that the flood walls would have cost more than the property they would have protected. So you've got to take a look at, really, it's a cost-benefit ratio there. We can do it, but what's it going to cost? And is it cheaper to just buy it out and make it a clear plane? Plus, a lot of people don't understand, to add a foot or two to a flood wall, you're not just pouring a little dirt on top. You're going way out to the wings and bringing it up.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
You all feel buyouts are going to be necessary here again?
No question. No
Yes.
question.
Yeah. Should people even be thinking about returning to some of these areas?
I don't think they should be. I think if you've been hit twice now, I think you really have to consider about a buyout and trying to see if we can't find another location here in Broome County or Tioga.
We have lots of beautiful space
Shenango.
here.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Alan, the United Way has been very involved in raising money to help all of these people affected. How are their dollars being spent right now?
Well, they haven't been spent yet. It takes a little bit more of a process. We have to put in place some case management network that should be up and running next week, actually. I know people are anxious, but the main thing is that people do need to go to FEMA first, and these dollars that folks have been so very generous with will be used for those long-term recovery needs. So we learned that after the flood of '06, and those needs will continue for several months, and we have a system in place with case managers who will work with individuals.
You're still raising dollars for that very long-term recovery?
Sure. We're continuing to collect money. The community has been very generous, and we'll continue to hold the dollars for these purposes.
For direct assistance, handing people the money, or just providing the support services?
It will most likely go to help meet some of the needs that they have to rebuild their home. There will be a voucher system set up at local vendors, whatnot, that we might actually be making. It won't be United Way making the disbursements. It'll actually be this casework system. There will be payments made to contractors, vendors, those kinds of things. So.
Okay. One more quick question. I know it was especially a problem in Vestal. You had to move your town hall during the flood. What about communications for the next disaster, getting the word out to people what they need to know?
We've already started with a debrief on what could we have done better. As it was, we had approximately a day and a half where we were silent. It happened to be at the worst time, but we did have media support. We got stuff out through TV, through radio. We got stuff out directly to the people by being there, but we've got to get back in to determine, because we're in the floodplain. Town Hall is in the floodplain. The other thing we've got to worry about is how much money do we put into Town Hall, because it's going to be good money on top of bad. So that's another tough one we've got to look at.
All right. I know a lot of issues here, and we'll be talking with all of you still in the coming days as we recover, and I thank you both so much for joining us, or all of you for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.